I am Todd Graber. I'm your host this morning for our, well, let me see here. Where is I'm off to a good start. Sharing my screen with you this morning. So hold on one second. Stop. This is the Accessibility Challenge 2022. Can you all see my PowerPoint here?
Yeah,
yes?
we can.
Great, thank you, Casey. So there are, as many of you know who have attended some of these prior sessions, there are 5 basic principles that we're trying to look at in the accessibility challenge, and our goal is trying to become more accessible across campus, and providing descriptive hyperlinks is one of those principles. And as we were discussing a little bit before today, it's probably one of the more straightforward ones, although there are some tricky things about it. So let's get started with this. So today we're just going to chat real quickly about what a hyperlink is, first off. And again, I don't mean to insult anybody's intelligence. I think we all know what hyperlinks are, but I do want to talk a little bit about how a lot of us, including myself early on, started to use them and how we paste them into documents. And then how does that differ from a descriptive hyperlink, and what are they, why even use them, and then how to create and how to edit them. Again, feel free to at any time interrupt me by turning on your audio and ask a question. There's no problem there. So hyperlinks are, I guess we all know them as URLs, or a URL is part of a hyperlink. It's the actual address, the unique address that takes us to another resource that's outside the document that we're in. It takes us to a web page. It can take us to a file. And it's usually found, if you look up here in my browser here, my browser window, under, this is the URL for this particular page that we're on right now in Google Docs, right? Some URLs are gobbledygook like this. If I were to switch over to, I think like our Oswego accessibility page, you'll see that one's not so bad. It does sort of describe, you can get an idea of where that link might take you. You know, it's going to take you to the Oswego home site, and it's going to take you to some page dealing with accessibility. But still, that's not the majority of hyperlinks. So many of them look more like this. And again, if you're reading through a document yourself, even as someone who's not visually impaired, that doesn't tell us a whole lot about what am I going to get when I click on this hyperlink. And unfortunately, when we do want to create a hyperlink, this is what I used to do. I would highlight, let's say I wanted this lecture here on Mozart operas for my opera class. I would highlight it, I would copy it, and again, however you do that in your own platform. And then I would switch back to my document that I want to put it in. Let's say I wanted to put it here, and I would paste. And then as soon as you hit a space bar or an enter, usually a lot of the Microsoft programs will turn it automatically into a hyperlink. So now it's an active hyperlink. And when I share this document with somebody and they click on that, it will take them to this address. As you can see, there's what does that tell you? It's YouTube, but I have no clue what this is about. Okay, and whether I'm using a screen reader or not, the user doesn't know what they're going to get when they click on this. So this is where descriptive hyperlinks come in for us. There is a way to edit this so that it is a little bit more user-friendly. And when I say that, it's really helpful for people who are using screen readers, because what a screen reader will do in context when it reads through a digital document, it reads everything. So if we're trying to read this little blurb I have here, it would read response to the exigencies of the operatic genre itself, and then it would sound sort of like this.
/www.youtube.com/watchb=udvr0gat7gi.
Okay, so if you get a lot of those in a document, did you hear that, by the way? I hope. Yes. Okay. That's really annoying, and as you can tell, if these are even longer, it's going to get even more out of hand. So, not the very best kind of solution. So what can we do instead? Well, we can edit this, and the nice thing about editing hyperlinks is that it's fairly simple. There's a commonality between all these different programs. When you open an editing hyperlinks window or the little tool that allows you to do this, you're usually going to see two fields. You're going to see the field that has a place for the actual URL, which again is the actual address that you copy out of the window up here, the browser window. And there's going to be another box for some kind of descriptive text. And that can be anything. But that descriptive text is what the user will now see instead of the URL. The URL is still there. And when they click on the other text that you provided, it will still take them to the same page. So for instance, if I wanted to play with this here, if I wanted to change this, in Google Docs, which is the slide, as soon as I click on a hyperlinked thing, I'm going to get this little box down here. And it has three, it has a copy link, it has an edit link, and it has a remove link. You're going to want to click on the edit link. And what you're going to see is this little box here. So this is the actual URL here in the middle. This highlighted text at the top is where I can type something in descriptively. I'm just going to write in something like that, and then you can hit enter. So it takes a little practice to write descriptive hyperlinks. You truly do want to describe what it is that the user is going to get when they click on this. You don't want to write reams. You don't want to have, this is a YouTube video that talks about Mozart and how he came up with the ideas of working with Da Ponte on the 3 operas that he wrote. That's way too much. You can keep it 4 to 6 words. That would be great, and make it descriptive. Sometimes that just takes a little time to figure out. You can be creative. So that, in a nutshell, is how you can actually create a descriptive hyperlink. Now, you can go in, for those of you who like shortcut commands, I found that across platforms for PCs, the Control K works really well. It brings up the same little box all the time. And if you don't want to click on this little icon here, you can use the Control K or Command K for the Mac. You can also go up to the toolbar here, and there's an insert link, which will bring up the exact same box one more time. Kamal, yeah.
Yeah, did you just say this is in Google Doc?
Yes, I'm in Google Docs right now. Yeah.
So not a PowerPoint, or would that work?
Not in PowerPoint. We'll get to PowerPoint in a second, because I created this in PowerPoint, and then I brought it over to Google Docs, so I wouldn't have to keep shifting my screen sharing. But we will definitely get to Microsoft Office here in a bit. It's very similar. There's a link icon, or you can right click and it comes up, edit hyperlink. But there is a little difference, and we'll get to that. Thank you for your question. So let us. So here are a couple of other examples of hyperlinks that you might run across in a document. Now, again, you might copy something like this into a document and feel like, well, that's descriptive enough. I don't need to add anything else. Or you might think, well, gosh, I could do this. I could embed it in the sentence. The accessibility resource web page, parentheses, address, provides information regarding accessibility strategies. That's a step up from number one, for sure. But now you've got the screen reader is going to read all of that again. And this is sort of redundant. You've already told us that you want to go to the accessibility resource page. How can I make this a little more concise? And what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the URL. I'm going to copy it. And now I'm going to highlight the accessibility resource web page. Now you'll notice that when I highlight this, that little box doesn't come up because there's no hyperlink here. Like if I put my cursor over here, we're going to get those three little icons. But over here, I won't, because there is no hyperlink. So what we have to do here is one of two things. You're going to use your Control K or Command K to bring up this little box, or you can go up to the link box up here. Now I'm going to just paste in the hyperlink that I just copied from over here and hit apply. Now that's a working active hyperlink, and I can go in and I can delete this. Now it looks much nicer, and the screen reader will read this. It will say link, but then it will say link to the accessibility resource webpage, provides information regarding accessibility strategies and design ideas. Okay, that's probably one of the most common and one of the most concise ways of embedding your links, making them descriptive, putting them actually in the text that you're using, if that's possible, if they're showing up in the middle of a paragraph or something. Now, what you want to be careful of, you might read this sentence and say, I want to add a link in here to the accessibility resource webpage, and you might go, ooh, provides information. Maybe I want the web page is going to give them information, so let's put the link there. And some of you may see links like this. Unfortunately, provides information isn't very descriptive. It's more, you know that it's going to take you to a location that provides more information, but more information about what? Now, in the context of this sentence, you might say, well, it's going to take me to the accessibility resource webpage. But I'll give you another example of this just in a second, where you're going to see that's not helpful for screen readers. You're going to be better off by doing this example, trying to be as concise and letting this title be as descriptive as possible to your hyperlink, so that people know what it is they're going to get when they click on it. Questions about any of that so far, about using the little box? Again, we'll get to the actual interface for Microsoft here in a second. But for Google Docs, it's that simple.
Todd,
Yeah.
quick question. In the last example you just showed, would it make sense to highlight accessibility design and strategies instead as the link? Because
Yeah,
that's the type of information that it's giving you.
Absolutely. You could, that's even probably more descriptive than the accessibility resource webpage. So again, you're going to have to be just a little creative in how you think about, put yourself in the user's seat a little bit and see what is going to be most helpful to them in describing. Because number one, what happens with students? They get in, they see links like this on our pages or on our notes, and they sometimes they want to know, well, do I want to go, I want to finish reading what's actually here first. Do I want to pop over and read this other page yet? Well, if it's just a random URL, they don't have any information with which to make that decision. If it's a descriptive URL, then anybody using a screen reader or just any student can look at it and say, okay, I understand where that's going. Maybe I'll finish reading everything here and then I'll pop over, or I'll wait till later and pop over to that extra site. So it's the accessibility isn't just for screen readers, but for all of our students. So here are some more examples, a little bit more like this provides information one. I'm sure many of you have seen or maybe used click here to learn more about accessibility. Please register for the accessibility challenge by going to this site. I shared it with you on Google Drive. These are all, they're better than just putting the URL down because they at least aren't as cumbersome or awkward for the screen reader. But one of the things that people using screen readers have the option of doing is they can turn on a little function in their screen reader that will show them only the hyperlinks on a particular page. So if they were looking at this page, for instance, the text around the links gives it a little bit of context. But if they turned on their option of just screen reader, just show me the links, just show me the links here, that's what they're going to see. And none of that is very helpful at all. Their screen reader is going to read, click here, provides information here, etc. So that's one of the big reasons we like to use more descriptive hyperlinks, is because this function for the screen reader is really undermined if we don't. I just put this on you all for a second. How might you change? Oh, let's look at this one down here. Please check out our calendar for the challenge. How might we change that to embed this Google Docs sort of registration form, put it in a little different light? Anybody want to give that a shot? You might have to reword what you have. I might. Anybody want to give it a shot? I mean, I'm just going to wing this myself. Yeah.
Could you say to see the daily sessions for the challenge? Then I don't know what else to put. I don't want to just put click here.
Well, let's see. We had to see the daily sessions.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's say to Well, you might even just have this. You don't even need that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't even need this.
Mm-hmm.
We just copy the URL from here and get rid of that. You might add
If you can hear us, you hung.
Spectrum is not my favorite. And now I'm getting like two little bars down here. So I hope we'll keep going here. Let's move on so we can get through the rest of this real quick. So there were some questions earlier about the different types of links and doing descriptive hyperlinks on different platforms. In again, Google Docs, if we're in Gmail and we want to do hyperlinks, you want to embed a create a hyperlink. You can go down to the little link down here at the bottom, insert link, and you can paste in your URL. There's your text, and there you are. Very similar to what was in the Google Docs PowerPoint. Now you also have an option. You can also just hit link first, type your thing here, paste in your URL, boom. You don't even have to highlight. But if you've already got it typed, sometimes it's easier to just highlight it. You can also do the same thing with an email in here. Click on email address, put in an email address, and say, okay. Now, Casey, I've got a question for you. I've read a number of things about the difference between hyperlinks with emails and then for those of actual URLs of websites. And some of the sites I was in on, they suggested not doing what I just did, Todd's email, but leaving emails actually in their raw form, because so people can distinguish between emails and actual links to websites. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm not 100% positive which is more or less accessible.
Yeah.
I know in a lot of cases, I would say Todd's email, have it as a link for mail to, but then likely also parenthetically or as part of the overall link, write the email address.
Mm-hmm.
It allows someone to copy down the email address if they want it for later,
Yep.
because it's written out, but it also provides them the easy option of just clicking on it and immediately going in to reply or send an email to that address.
Yeah.
So there'd be a broader question for Rebecca or possibly a couple other folks in the work group. But in having the email address written out also helps distinguish it that it's actually an email link,
Yeah.
and not just a URL.
Yeah, I was torn on that myself, and I think if it's part of like a signature block, putting Todd's email might be okay, but that's the part that most people are likely want to copy. And if it's in this form, then you have to click on it. You have to go into, you might have to actually go into the link itself and find the email again and copy it out. It's just a little more awkward. Whereas normal links, I think we don't have that issue with is quite as much. Any questions on email links? Again, it's very similar to the Google PowerPoint that we were just in. Just look for this little link down here. And also the Control K, Command K works in here as well as a shortcut if you like that. Okay, let me look quick here at, shall we go while we're on the internet here? Let's look at Blackboard. I know this is going away very quickly, but here are some, there's just my syllabus in here. You can do a very similar thing in here. You can highlight your text that you want to hyperlink to, have your URL already copied. And then at the top of the page here, wait a minute, why isn't this? Hold on one second.
Todd, you're not in edit mode, that's why.
Oh, that would help. Thought it looked a little funny. Thank you. I'm all learning this stuff too, folks. So there we go. When you highlight your text, you'll see at the top here, again, all the little wonderful icons. The link here, Kamal, is a little different. It looks a little different than it did in Google Docs. You get a choice of two. You can remove a link, and then there's insert a link. You're going to type your URL in there, and voila, you have your hyperlink again. They're all going to be very similar to that kind of procedure. If you didn't want that, if you wanted to edit it, I think you can highlight it, hit on link again. It will bring it up. You can edit your text and hit it again, and it will. You can change whatever it is that you're trying to link to there. All right, questions on that, on Blackboard? If not, let's pop over to, I'm going to have to stop sharing this screen, and let's share my Word document. Oops. Can you see my Word document here?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. So I've got some more opera stuff written in here. You're going to be able to, now I've got this is an older version of Word, so I apologize for that. I don't like change as much as most of you, and I know where everything is in this version. What you're going to see here, Kamal, is under insert, you're going to see this hyperlink icon. I think in the newer versions of Word, you're going to see the link on this home bar, I do believe. And if worse comes to worse, if you're looking for it, if you're in a PC, you can right click. You can right click on any kind of text, and it's going to give you the hyperlink window. And also the shortcuts work, Control K or Command K. So this box looks like a little different, right, than what we were seeing in the other software packages. But the commonality is that this is your text to display. This is what they're going to see on the page. This is the address down here. And you can paste in your URL. You can highlight, well, the text is already here. I've already highlighted it, and you hit OK. Now, this wasn't a very descriptive URL. I wasn't paying attention to that so much, only really the process. And if you'll notice, if you have your screen tip turned on, you notice that when I hover over that link, it shows me the URL. Now, that's not really helpful. Again, you can go in by hitting your link again. And if you click on screen tip up here, you can actually put in a description. As you can either mirror the text you already had. It won't change the link at all, but now when my cursor hovers over the text, I don't get the URL, I get the description. Okay, this is common throughout PowerPoint, throughout Excel. And you want me to do something in PowerPoint, Kamal? Yeah, let's pop over to my PowerPoint. So here we have my deck here again, and this is the actual PowerPoint software. Just like in Word, if I right click, I'm going to get the hyperlink. If I do, which will give me the box, very same or similar box. If I hit Control K, I'll get the same box for you to put in your descriptive hyperlinks and type in or paste in your URL down here, which gives us the hyperlink.
Todd,
Yeah.
did you click on the insert menu for this PowerPoint? Because this is a newer version of PowerPoint. Oh, no, it's not. It still has the hyperlink. Okay.
Yeah.
I just put in the chat the newer version of Word, and I suspect PowerPoint, the link is still in the insert menu.
Okay.
But it doesn't show the globe. It just has the piece of chain as the icon.
Okay. Yeah, that seems to be, I think that's the thing that really shows that this is old. Most of them have opted for this little bit of 3-link chain as their link icon. This still has the worldwide, web or the globe in this version.
So
yeah,
Todd,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Judith.
So it's just a matter of trying to remember the order in which you do the functions to make it appear correctly. So it's like memorizing. I have to click on this and then the menu, click on this, and then click on the next thing and then the menu. So it's a matter of how we do it to make it happen, like in what order.
Yes. And for the most part, you're going to start, let's say you have a link that you want to get into your document. Probably the first thing you want to do is pop over to your browser and find that page first and foremost, and then click on the URL at the top, copy that, and then switch back over to the program that you're using. Then it's in your clipboard. You don't have to worry about trying to remember it or retyping it. And then you have 2 options at that point, Judy. You can highlight existing text that you already have down, hit the link button, paste in the URL that you just copied, and hit OK. Or if it's easier, if you haven't really typed the text that you want yet, you can still hit the hyperlink button, type the text that you want to display at the top, paste the URL again, and hit OK. So you can do either or. It's still going to be basically the same. You need to copy your URL, have it ready so that you can paste it into the box, and then you can edit your descriptive text however you want.
Okay, I know, right? It's so weird because I'm looking at it saying, oh, I'll never get this done, but breaking it down that way makes a lot more sense. Thank you. I'm sorry if you've said this 5 times, but it took me
No.
a bit.
No, that's fine.
And Judy, I'll just kind of add that I've generally found it easier to write my document and then go in and say, okay, I need this piece linked to something. And so I'll go find that link in the browser and so forth, copy it, go back to my document, highlight that and paste it in. I just find it easier to get my content down and then deal with making all the links.
Yeah, it's hard to do on the fly. And you can, once you've got your text down, I think I work like you do, Casey. I go in later and then augment my text with resources that I want to add to it. The only last thing, I don't know if you guys really want me to do this or not. Maybe Casey, I hope maybe you have different ideas, but there is a way in Adobe. Now, Adobe it's a great program. It's primarily created to share documents in a printing kind of a mode across many different printers and platforms. So it looks the same always. When you create a document in PowerPoint or in Word and you export it to a PDF, if you have links in there, they will be honored. Okay. Now this is an old document. You can see I did a horrible, horrible job. This was done in 2015. This is my faculty web page, basically, and that's the long URL. I just copied and pasted it in there. But it's still there, it's active. And these versions down here that were embedded from another website that did have descriptive texts were also they're also still active and they work. So if you've got all your ducks in a row in your original document and you export it, you're fine. What if you get to the point where you don't want to go in and back to your original document, or it's not available, and you want to add a hyperlink to an existing PDF? You can do it. It's not very intuitive. And it's if you have the full version of Adobe, the Pro DC, and you click on this little icon up here, which is the edit mode, you can you can grab actual text. Okay. Now, one would think that having grabbed some text and wanting to add a link, I would just go up here to this again. Ooh, there's a link icon. Great. I'm going to click on that. And it gives me some options. Add a web or document link. All right, let's do that. Where'd my text go? It's gone. Now, my cursor is this little cross-haired thing. And what they want you to do is draw a little box around the text that you want to add a link to. Then you get this box. And then you add next, and you put in your URL, and you hit OK. And then you can close that. So now there's this little box, and you can see that my cursor turns into a little glove there. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Yeah, my cursor turns into a little hand. So that is now an active hyperlink, and you can see the URL behind it in the screen tips there. I think that's hard to see, and I'm not sure a student or I don't know what a screen reader would do to that. I don't know, Casey, if you have any ideas, but I think you're better off going back into your original document, adding adding a hyperlink there if that's what you want, and then resaving it as a PDF. Because this is a little convoluted.
Yeah, I think a screen reader is just going to recognize it as a link somewhere in the document, but it's not directly associated with that text. You can think about
Yeah.
it as just an area in the document that is a link.
Yeah, it's an
not the
object.
text.
Yep. Yeah. And then again, I worry about students visually seeing that. It doesn't really stand out to me. I would probably, if I had my druthers, I'd probably highlight. Go in and try to make that a different color. No, I don't know what I just did. But anyway, I played with that a little bit earlier, and that's awkward, trying to highlight it. I think you highlight it first and then add the little box over it, but it's a very awkward.
Managing dealing with PDFs after they've been created is extremely awkward.
Yeah. So I would just say that first off, if you have any, I wanted to whip through here. These are some of the sessions that are a little later today.
Glad you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, I did turn it off, didn't I? God, you get rusty with this stuff. So here's some of the sessions